Welcome to the premiere episode of Major League Baseball Trade Trees with me, your host, Evan Thompson, Editor-in-Chief and National Writer at Sport Relay. In this series, we will take a trade and go through how it developed over time. We will go beyond the original trade, seeing what teams have done with the assets they gained from the trade. Some of the trees we will look at are still active, and some will have ended. For this trade tree, we will see how the Arizona Diamondbacks are still reaping riches from trading two separate players, outfielder Gerardo Parra and second baseman Kelly Johnson. First, the guidelines. A branch of the trade tree remains active when that player leaves and the team gets one or more human assets in return. In baseball, this happens in two ways. Obviously, the first method is for a team to trade the player in return for one or more players. The other method happens when a player leaves as a free agent and the team he left gets one or more compensatory draft picks. Also of note, in baseball, the only draft pick a team can trade is a competitive balanced draft pick. However, they can trade minor leaguers all they want. Now for some background on Gerardo Parra. The Diamondbacks signed him as an international free agent in 2004 when Parra was 17. He entered the minor league system in 2006. When outfielder Connor Jackson went on the disabled list May 13, 2009, the Diamondbacks brought Parra up from Double-A Mobile and started him that same night. Parra homered in his first major league at-bat, the 100th player in league history to do so. He became known for his defensive prowess in the outfield, winning 2 Gold Gloves in his first 5 seasons. In 2014, however, he began to decline. Additionally, the Diamondbacks were not having a good season. With Parra heading into his final arbitration year, you get 3 arbitration years, he was heading into his third, the Diamondbacks figured they'd have to pay him $6 million or more in 2015, something they were not willing to do. So the Diamondbacks took the most sensible course of action for a team in that situation. They had to trade him. Meanwhile, there was a division leader that had been in first for nearly the entire season. All but 3 days, in fact. However, this team had hit a cold streak and their comfortable division lead wasn't so comfortable anymore. They felt Parra could give them the spark they needed to put the division away. So on trade deadline day, July 31st, 2014, the Diamondbacks sent Parra to the Milwaukee Brewers for 2 minor leaguers, a low-A pitcher and a double-A outfielder. Before we reveal these 2 players' identities, let's fill out the Brewers side of the trade tree. Parra spent the rest of 2014 and the beginning of 2015 with the Brewers. He did not have a great 2014 season with either the Diamondbacks or the Brewers. And to make matters worse for the Brewers, the team went into a tailspin after the trade. Their record at the time of the trade was 60-49, 2 games ahead of the St. Louis Cardinals and 2.5 games ahead of the Pittsburgh Pirates. They went 13-14 in August and 9-17 in September to fall from first to third and miss the playoffs entirely with an 82-80 record. In 2015, the Brewers picked up where they left off, going 5-17 in April en route to a 44-60 record by the trade deadline. Parra, however, was having a nice season, so he had some value on the trade market. One contender, the Baltimore Orioles, thought he'd help them down the stretch. Therefore, on July 31st, 2015, the Brewers traded Parra to the Orioles for Triple-A pitcher Zach Davies, who coincidentally later played for the Diamondbacks. Ultimately, Parra played 146 games for the Brewers, going 139 for 446 and slashing 312, 355, 482, with 28 doubles, 6 triples, 12 home runs, 41 RBI, 13 stolen bases in 18 attempts, and 66 runs scored for a 1.8 WAR. Davies debuted at the end of the 2015 season and spent the next 4 with the Brewers, starting 111 games and tossing 614 1/3 innings. This was easily the best stretch of his career, as he went 43-32 with a 3.91 ERA, a 91 ERA minus, along with a 12.99 WHIP and an 8.2 WAR. He helped the Brewers win the NL Central in 2018 and a wildcard spot in 2019. Davies pitched 1 postseason inning for the Brewers, finishing their 5-2 road loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers in Game 5 of the 2018 NLCS with an inning of scoreless relief. After the Brewers lost the 2019 wildcard game to the eventual champion Washington Nationals in excruciating fashion, no less, don't bring this game up to a Brewers fan, they traded Davies. They packaged him with the GOAT of that game, outfielder Trent Grisham, and sent the pair to the San Diego Padres on November 22nd, 2019. In return, the Padres sent infielder Luis Urias, right-handed pitcher Eric Lauer, and a player to be named later. Nothing ever came of the player to be named later, so that branch died before it even bore fruit. Lauer started 60 games and tossed 7 games in relief for the Brewers between 2020 and 2023, amassing 335 innings. The Brewers won a wildcard spot and 2 NL Central titles during his time there. He had 1 postseason start, and that came in 2021 against the eventual champion Atlanta Braves. Over his time with the Brewers, Lauer went 22-20 with a 4.22 ERA, that's a 1.01 ERA minus, a 12.93 WHIP, and 2.2 WAR. At the end of 2023, Lauer left via free agency. Since the Brewers did not receive any compensatory picks when he left, that branch is done. That leaves Luis Urias. He played 330 games plus 4 postseason games for the Brewers as a utility infielder and amassed 6.2 WAR between 2020 and 2023. Now, when it comes to trade trees, games played matter. Even if his WAR isn't super high, if he played 800 or so games for the team, that's still a guy that was good enough to play 800 games for a Major League Baseball team, so that's not nothing. Anyway, back to Urias. He went 253 for 1060, slashing 239, 335, 403, with 48 doubles, 3 triples, 40 homers, 138 RBI, and 147 runs scored. 2021 and 2022 went well for Urias, but 2023 did not. He yo-yoed between the majors and minors before the Brewers traded him to the Boston Red Sox on deadline day, August 1st, 2023. In return, they received minor league pitcher Bradley Blaylock. Blaylock pitched 1 inning of 1 game for the Brewers in 2024. Around the trade deadline, the Brewers, who were protecting an NL Central lead, wanted to add another reliever for the stretch run. So they packaged him with single-A right-hander Eugenio Herrera and sent the pair to the Colorado Rockies on July 27th for Nick Mears. Mears pitched 12 1/3 innings across 13 relief appearances down the stretch with mixed results. He added 2 scoreless appearances in the postseason. As of this recording, in late January of 2025, he is still with the Brewers, so their side of the tree ends here for now, but is still active. Now for the Diamondbacks side. The low-A pitcher was left-hander Anthony Banda. He remained in the minors until 2017 when he made 4 shaky starts and 4 strong relief appearances for the playoff-bound Diamondbacks. During spring training 2018, the Diamondbacks traded him in a 3-team deal with the Tampa Bay Rays and New York Yankees. Banda and 2 players to be named later went to the Rays. Outfielder Steven Souza Jr. went from the Rays to the Diamondbacks. Souza played 72 games for the Diamondbacks in 2018. During the final exhibition game prior to opening day 2019 at Chase Field, he slipped on home plate while scoring, and the awkward landing while trying to catch himself blew out his knee. He never played for the Diamondbacks again as they released him after the season, bringing this branch to an abrupt end. On May 1st, the Diamondbacks completed the Arizona-Tampa Bay leg of the trade triangle by sending single-A pitcher Sam McWilliams and double-A pitcher Colin Poche to the Rays. McWilliams still has yet to make the majors and spent the 2024 season in the Chicago Cubs farm system. Poche debuted for the Rays in 2019, missed the next 2 seasons due to injury, then spent 2022 through 2024 as a valuable part of the Rays' relief corps. The second leg of the trade triangle had utility man Brandon Drury go from the Diamondbacks to the Yankees. Pitching prospect Taylor Widener went from the Yankees to the Diamondbacks. Widener debuted for the Diamondbacks in 2020, then spent 2021 and 2022 yo-yoing between the Diamondbacks and the minors. He left as a free agent after the 2022 season, and since the Diamondbacks did not get any compensation, his branch of the tree is done. Also in this trade, but not part of this tree, the Yankees sent infielder Nick Solak to the Rays. Some of you may be thinking, I don't remember Nick Solak playing for the Rays. Well, you're right. While Solak was still in the minors, the Rays traded him to the Texas Rangers for Pete Fairbanks, who is now the Rays closer. We have now finished the Anthony Banda branch of the trade tree. As for the Double-A outfielder, he made the majors in 2016 and played 34 games for the Diamondbacks. He went 25 for 109, slashing 229, 309, 404, with 2 doubles, a triple, 5 homers, 17 RBI, and 9 runs scored for a negative 0.1 WAR. Before we reveal his name, we must briefly visit another trade tree. In this trade tree series, we will rarely jump to another trade tree given how complicated and messy these can get. However, we are making an exception in this case because both of these trade trees have the same ultimate haul. During the 2011 season, the Diamondbacks were in the thick of the NL West race. At the end of the day, August 22nd, they led the second-place San Francisco Giants by 1 game. On August 23rd, the Diamondbacks got some fresh blood. They sent 29-year-old second baseman Kelly Johnson, who was due to become a free agent after the season, to the Toronto Blue Jays. In return, the Blue Jays sent the Diamondbacks 2 players. The main reason we focused on the Gerardo Parra trade tree and not this one is because the Blue Jays half of this tree is boring. Johnson played 175 games across the 2011 and 2012 seasons for the Blue Jays before leaving as a free agent. He went 145 for 622, slashing 233, 323, 375, with 23 doubles, 4 triples, 19 homers, 64 RBI, and 77 runs scored. This gave him a 2.8 WAR. When he left, the Blue Jays did not get any compensatory picks, so their half died out before it even became a tree. Now for the Diamondbacks. The first player the Blue Jays sent in return was veteran infielder John McDonald. McDonald was a 36-year-old veteran in his 12th season. Between 2011 and 2012, he played in 89 regular season games and 2 playoff games. In the regular season, he went 59 for 256, slashing 230, 278, 344 with 11 doubles, 6 homers, 24 RBI, and 18 runs scored for a 1.3 WAR. The Diamondbacks sold his rights to the Pittsburgh Pirates March 20th, 2013, so that ends his section of the tree. The other player the Blue Jays sent the Diamondbacks was another 29-year-old second baseman, Aaron Hill, who made an immediate impact. Not only did he play strong defense, but over the 33 games he played for the Diamondbacks in 2011, he batted .315 with 12 of his 39 hits being doubles. This helped the Diamondbacks go 25-9 after the trade, the best record in the majors over that span. Their one-game lead widened, and they ended the season as NL West champions, 8 games ahead of the second place and defending champion San Francisco Giants. Hill started all 5 NLDS games for the Diamondbacks in 2011, a series they lost to the Brewers in the maximum 5 games on a 10th inning walk-off single by Nyjer Morgan. Do not bring this series up to a Diamondback fan, trust me. Hill stayed with the Diamondbacks for 4 more seasons, winning the Silver Slugger in 2012. During his entire time as a Diamondback, he had 6.8 WAR in 525 games, after going 5-12 for 1874 and slashing 273, 331, 439. He had 121 doubles, 12 triples, 55 homers, 241 RBI, and 245 runs scored. If this part of the Kelly Johnson trade tree were to end right here, the Diamondbacks would have done pretty well. They had flipped Johnson, a pending free agent, for 5 seasons of Aaron Hill. But this isn't the end of the tree. There's more. Oh yes, there's more. At this point, Hill was about to turn 34 and had begun to decline, so the Diamondbacks shopped him around. They worked out a deal with none other than the Brewers, packaging Hill with right-hander Chase Anderson, minor league infielder Isan Diaz, and cash on January 30th, 2016. In return, the Brewers sent 2 players. One was right-hander Tyler Wagner, who pitched 3 games that April before being sent down. He pitched 3 more games in the minors, got injured, and did not play again the rest of the season. That offseason, the Diamondbacks put him on waivers where the Texas Rangers claimed him, ending that branch of the tree rather abruptly. The other player the Diamondbacks received had an outstanding 2016 season, putting up 6.4 WAR in 153 games. This infielder belted an NL-leading 203 hits, the last Diamondback to do so, and one of 2 to ever do it. The other one is some guy you may have heard of named Luis Gonzalez, who had 206 in 1999. This mystery player slashed .319, .368, .499 with 41 doubles, 7 triples, 20 homers, 64 RBI from the leadoff spot, 33 stolen bases in 43 attempts, and 102 runs scored. Since that 2016 season, only 2 Diamondbacks have scored 100 runs in a season. Both did it twice, and you've heard of both of them. One was Paul Goldschmidt, the other was Corbin Carroll. The Diamondbacks finished last in 2016 and cleaned house. In October of that year, they hired their current general manager, Mike Hazen. There was a young major leaguer out there that, in the eyes of Hazen, was certain to become a star. Hazen wanted him. Badly. Really badly. And that player's team also had a pitcher Hazen wanted, one who was about to begin the first of his 3 arbitration years. So Hazen worked out a deal that went through on November 23rd. He packaged left-hander Zach Curtis with the outfielder from the Gerardo Parra trade and the infielder from the Aaron Hill trade. The outfielder was Mitch Haniger. The infielder was Gene Segura. And the trade partner was the Seattle Mariners. In return, the Mariners sent 2 players. One was right-hander Taijuan Walker. Walker started 28 games for the Diamondbacks in 2017, helping them earn a wildcard berth and started one game that postseason. He started 3 games in 2018 before he went on the DL with forearm tightness. And people who have followed baseball for a long enough time know that if a pitcher goes on the then called disabled list, now called the injured list, with tightness in the forearm of his pitching hand, that spells trouble, because that means UCL, the ligament in your elbow, which means Tommy John surgery is coming. Well, that's exactly what happened here. Walker had to have Tommy John surgery to repair a partial tear in his UCL. Walker pitched only one more game for the Diamondbacks, that being the last game of the 2019 season. In all, Walker started 32 games and tossed 171 and 1/3 inning for the Diamondbacks. He went 9-9 with a 3.49 ERA. That's a 77 ERA minus, a 13.42 WHIP, and a 2.9 WAR. Walker left as a free agent, and the Diamondbacks did not get any comp picks, so his branch ends here. The other player the Diamondbacks received is the one keeping their side of the tree active. As Hazen predicted, this player has become a star. He is a switch-hitting middle infielder who started 2017 in the minors before being called up June 28th. In his 8 seasons with the Diamondbacks, he has made 2 All-Star teams, starting both, and honestly, he should have made more. He has also been top 4 in MVP voting twice, adding a Silver Slugger, and he's also the 2023 NLCS MVP. You know where I'm going with this. That's right, Ketel Marte. At the time we are recording this, late January 2025, Marte has played 928 regular season games and 21 postseason games for the Diamondbacks. In the regular season, he has gone 962 for 33.98 with the Diamondbacks, slashing 283, 355, 490. Additionally, he has 207 doubles, 38 triples, including 12 in 2018 when he tied for the National League lead, 140 homers, 465 RBI, 42 stolen bases in 50 attempts, and 521 runs scored. Also of note, he missed getting the batting title in 2019 by 1 hit. 1. Marte is still in his prime, so these numbers should keep growing. Since he is under contract through at least 2027 with a club option for 2028, the Diamondback side of this tree should still be active for at least a few more years. On the Brewers side, Mears is only 28, so he could be on the team for at least a few more years. Then, who knows? The Brewers could trade him and keep their side going even longer. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the trade trees of Gerardo Parra and Kelly Johnson. Stay tuned for more episodes of Trade Trees, where we explore the intricate web of trades and their lasting impacts on teams. Before you go, click like if you liked this video. Tell all your friends. Click subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Buy my books, A Complete History of the Major League Baseball Playoffs, Volume 1 and now Volume 2. And finally, bookmark and regularly visit sportrelay.com. Until next time, this is Evan Thompson saying so long for now.